At Franklin High, the annual Academic Excellence Award ceremony was the most anticipated event of the year. It wasn't just a matter of pride for the students, but a symbol of their hard work, ambition, and dreams for the future. The air was always filled with nervous energy and excitement as students, parents, and teachers gathered in the grand auditorium. This year, however, a storm was brewing beneath the surface. Among the candidates for the top award was Marcus Johnson, a quiet yet brilliant black student who had consistently topped his class. Despite his remarkable achievements, there were whispers, ugly ones. Certain students and even a few teachers seemed to have trouble accepting that Marcus had risen to the top. Their eyes, filled with envy and prejudice, followed his every move, as if questioning how he could possibly outshine them. The evening of the ceremony, Marcus sat with his mother in the audience, dressed in a modest suit. His fingers nervously fiddled with his tie, a habit he had when he was deep in thought. His mother squeezed his hand reassuringly. "You've earned this, Marcus. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." The program commenced, and award after award was given out. Marcus applauded for his classmates, though he could feel the tension growing. His heart pounded in his chest as the headmaster, Mr. Harper, approached the podium to announce the winner of the Academic Excellence Award. "And now, the moment we've all been waiting for," Mr. Harper began, his voice echoing through the hall. "The recipient of this year's Academic Excellence Award has demonstrated exceptional intellect, perseverance, and leadership. They have achieved the highest grades in our school's history." Marcus held his breath. "And the winner is—" Mr. Harper hesitated for a brief moment, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his face. "Logan Winters!" The room burst into applause, but Marcus froze in his seat. Logan Winters. He wasn't even in the top 5 academically. Marcus's mind raced, trying to make sense of what had just happened. His stomach twisted as he watched Logan stride confidently onto the stage, flashing a smug smile. Logan's father, a prominent donor to the school, sat in the front row, clapping louder than anyone else. Marcus's mother stiffened beside him, her lips pursed in silent fury. "This isn't right," she whispered. "This isn't right at all." But Marcus didn't move. He sat there, stunned, as the reality of the situation hit him. He had worked so hard, fought through countless obstacles, only for his achievement to be snatched away at the last moment. The applause in the room felt like a slap to the face. Marcus had expected resistance in life. He had faced racism before. But this was a different kind of cruelty. It was deliberate, calculated. Logan took the stage, giving a half-hearted speech about how honored he was to win. The words felt empty, even to those listening. Marcus could feel the eyes of some of his classmates on him, those who knew the truth. But no one said anything. No one dared to speak up in front of Logan's influential family. As the ceremony continued, Marcus's mind swirled with anger and disbelief. How could they do this? How could they just take something that was rightfully his? But then he remembered his mother's words. He'd earned this. He wasn't going to let anyone take away what belonged to him. The ceremony drew to a close, and as people started to leave, Marcus stood up. He wasn't the type to cause a scene, but this was different. He couldn't stay silent this time. He glanced at his mother, who gave him a nod of encouragement. With determination in his eyes, Marcus made his way to the front of the stage, where Logan was still basking in the glow of his false victory. Some people noticed Marcus approaching, their eyes widening as they realized what might happen next. Marcus stepped up to the microphone. "Excuse me," he said, his voice steady but firm. The room went silent. Logan looked at him, eyebrows raised, clearly not expecting to be confronted. "I just wanted to say something." Mr. Harper, who was about to leave the stage, stopped in his tracks, his face paling. "Marcus, this isn't the time." "Actually, it is," Marcus interrupted, his voice growing stronger. "I've spent years working harder than I thought possible, and I've earned every achievement. I was told that this award is given to the student who not only excels academically, but also demonstrates leadership and perseverance. And I know I've done that. Everyone here knows it." A ripple of murmurs spread through the crowd. Some students nodded in agreement, while others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Logan's smile faltered, and he glanced nervously at his father, who sat stone-faced in the front row. Marcus continued, his voice unwavering. This isn't just about an award. This is about integrity, about fairness, and I won't let anyone take that from me. By now, the entire auditorium was silent, hanging on every word. Marcus turned to face the headmaster. Mr. Harper, you know I earned this award. You know it. So do my classmates. So does everyone in this room. The headmaster's face flushed with embarrassment. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Marcus didn't wait for an answer. He turned back to the microphone. I don't need a trophy to prove my worth, but I won't stand by and let someone else take credit for what I've done. Logan shifted uncomfortably, his smug expression gone. The room was tense, waiting to see what would happen next. Marcus took a step back, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. He didn't need to say more. The truth was out, and the silence in the room spoke volumes. Suddenly, a teacher from the back of the room stood up. Marcus is right, she said, her voice trembling but resolute. He deserves that award. Another student stood up, then another, and another. One by one, people in the audience began to rise, voicing their support for Marcus. Even some teachers who had remained silent for too long couldn't ignore the injustice any longer. Logan's face turned beet red as he looked around, realizing the tide had turned against him. His father scowled, but there was nothing he could do. The truth had been exposed, and no amount of money or influence could change that. Mr. Harper cleared his throat, his voice shaky as he addressed the crowd. It seems there has been a mistake, he said, glancing nervously at Logan's father. Marcus Johnson is, in fact, the rightful recipient of this year's Academic Excellence Award. The room erupted into applause, genuine this time. Marcus felt a wave of relief wash over him, but more than that, a sense of pride. He had stood up for himself, and in doing so, he had inspired others to do the same. As he stepped off the stage, Marcus's mother embraced him tightly, tears in her eyes. I'm so proud of you, she whispered. And for the first time that night, Marcus allowed himself to smile. Not because of the award, but because he had fought for what was right and won. As Marcus and his mother walked out of the auditorium, the energy was palpable. Students congratulated him, patting him on the back, while teachers nodded with newfound respect. Logan, meanwhile, sulked in the background, trying to shrink into invisibility as his father stormed out without a word. Outside, under the moonlit sky, Marcus felt a deep sense of calm. He had stood up not just for himself, but for everyone who had been overlooked or pushed aside because of their race. He had spoken up when it mattered, and the truth had prevailed. His mother turned to him, her eyes glowing with pride. You've shown them who you really are, Marcus. This is just the beginning. Marcus smiled, taking in her words. The future felt wide open, filled with possibilities, and for the first time in a long time, he wasn't afraid to face it. He had found his voice, and no one could ever take that away from him. You can support me by subscribing to my channel. If you want to see more stories like this, like it and share your comments with us. See you in the next video. Goodbye.